Heartbreaking news about Jamie Dornan, journey from coma to tears of love. A shocking news spread through websites, fan pages, and fan groups. Jamie Dornan had a serious accident. He is currently in a coma. At first, no one dared to believe it. For those who have followed him for the past few years, Jamie Dornan is a masculine, elegant, and safe face in the eyes of the public. No one could imagine that he would become the center of such an unexpected disaster. But when images of the ambulance, news posted on the internet, and ambiguous confirmations from his management representative began to appear, his fans began to understand, this was not a rumor. This was real pain. The day of destiny. Point 1. Before the storm came, Jamie Dornan, in this story, is preparing for a new film project called Eclipse of Memory. The content is expected to be a psychological thriller. The character he plays carries vague, painful memories and a big secret. He had long been looking for a role that would challenge him, not just the image of a charming male lead, but the role of a man who no longer believed in himself. That evening, Jamie had just left a script meeting in London. He felt a little uneasy. He had not been sleeping well lately, had many nightmares, and there seemed to be a melancholy echo from his dreams. But he told himself, it was just the pressure of work. His spirit was tense. Moreover, he had just received an early birthday greeting from his wife and 3 daughters, a strange bouquet of flowers sent to his studio in London, with a card, "Wherever you go, remember that home is always waiting for you." He kept the card in his coat pocket, and stepped out into the cold, dark air, where the street lights reflected on the wet pavement. 2. The terrifying moment. On the A303 highway, Jamie sat in his private car driven by his private driver. The rain was drizzling, and the road was slippery. The car suddenly swerved to the left to avoid a truck that suddenly crossed the lane. In a moment of reflex, the driver turned the wheel sharply, but it was too dark, the road was slippery, and the speed was high. The car hit the guardrail, rolling over several times before stopping. Jamie woke up in chaos. Everything was blurry, painful like fire. The sound of shattering glass, the sound of twisted metal, flashing headlights, distant screams. He heard the driver yell, "Mr. Dornan, hang in there," but then it was gone. 3. The endless sleep. Point 1. Coma and silence. Jamie fell into a deep coma. In the ICU, monitors flashed, ventilators whispered, medical staff panicked. Fans stayed up all night waiting for news. The management only announced that the condition was serious, need to be monitored. No pictures, no videos, no clear confirmation. His family, wife Amelia and 3 daughters, bid farewell to London and flew to the crash site. They stood outside the glass doors of the ICU, unable to enter due to technical reasons. In the waiting rows, relatives burst into tears, their eyes lost in thought, their smiles turning into tears. On the internet, fans organized prayers, asked for miracles, sent words of encouragement, wrote poems, drew pictures. They posted pictures of Jamie, wrote, "Be strong. Come back soon. We are waiting for you," as if the hearts of the whole world were pouring out for him to wake up. 2. In the dream, shimmering memories. In the dream, Jamie suddenly found himself wandering in a hazy meadow, where the red sun blocked the horizon. Sounds echoed, the laughter of his 3 daughters, the sound of his wife playing the piano, the steady breathing of him reading the script. He went looking for them through the mist. He saw memories, when his wife hugged him after each late shoot, when his daughter sang, "Daddy," in a childish voice, when he sat alone looking at an old photo of his mother, who had died when Jamie was young. Each image was a light knife cutting into him. Then a stranger appeared, tall, face blurred, saying, "Jamie, there is a secret you don't remember. If you wake up, do you dare to know?" The voice rang out weakly, then disappeared into the mist. Jamie tried to call, "No, don't go," but couldn't make a sound. He lay there, in a dream world, between memory and illusion. IV. The story gradually unfolds. Point 1. News and doubt. On the third day after the accident, the doctor gave the diagnosis: severe traumatic brain injury, chest injury, several broken ribs. Fragile vitality. If you get through the next stage, you might wake up, or lose your memory. The hospital director was cautious when sharing with the press. They imposed a no-go zone that did not allow clear images from inside the hospital room to appear. The online community was abuzz. Some people said they saw Jamie being carried from the scene to the hospital with a bag suspected of being a weapon. Some people spread the theory that the driver worked for a powerful organization, had a plan against Jamie for daring to publicly criticize an underground figure in the entertainment industry. Some people accused that there was a failed kidnapping plot. Jamie was forced to do something, then left at the scene as if it was an accident. All of it, just rumors, without solid evidence. International press rushed to report: Jamie Dornan, the star of The Desert, meets his fate. Fans worry he will not be able to return, from a shining star to the image of a torn kite. But fans clung to the faith. They pray in the group chat, sending wishes from all over the world. 2. Close but far away. His wife, Amelia, at the hospital, wakes up and goes to sleep every day hoping he will wake up. Outside the hospital room, there is a waiting room reserved for the family, where she and mother and child sit, hug each other, tell normal stories, hoping he can hear their voices unconsciously. A few times, the doctor opens the hospital room door, saying, he has a slight reaction. He blinks, but it is too fragile. Everyone stops breathing. A second later, they close the door again, giving the answer: please continue to wait, there is no guarantee. In the dark night, Amelia writes in her diary, I don't know where you are, in my dreams, in my memories, or in the abyss. If you can hear me, please take my hand and come back to me. Fans outside the hospital also contributed. They placed candles, left the heart doors open, sang Jamie's favorite songs, and painted pictures on the glass doors with the words, Brother, be strong. We are waiting for you. Some documentary filmmakers wanted to approach the hospital to film but were turned away. The hospital said it was protecting the patient, but it is believed that a high-ranking entertainment manager ordered the silence to avoid affecting the reputation and copyright of the new film. Versus turning a new page, waking up. Point 1. Eyes open. On the 10th day, after so many hopeless waits, a ray of hope appeared. When the sky rose, the monitor blinked faster. Jamie suddenly opened his eyes. At first, his eyes were dull, staring into space, like a deserter looking at a mirage. The doctor hurriedly called the nurse. He opened his eyes. He opened his eyes. The words echoed through the long hospital corridor. Everyone was bustling. Family, managers, press, fans standing outside the glass doors, fragile hope mixed with the smell of hospital and medicine. Jamie opened his eyes, saw the white light, saw the familiar, vague lines of his relatives' faces. He tried to smile. His eyes were gloomy but contained a very small ray of light. Amelia was silent, tears falling, sitting beside him, holding his trembling hand. Can you hear me? Jamie glanced over, stammered, I forgot. Everyone was startled. Forget. The word was like a knife stabbing into their hearts. Forget what? Forget everything. Point 2. Memory gap. In the following days, Jamie was awake but not completely. He was unconscious. There was a vast void in his head. He remembered the light, remembered the sounds, remembered the moon, but not his wife, not his children, not the movie he was about to shoot. He did not remember who he was. He searched for a long time, but only found strange fragments of memory, as if influenced by a dream, the strange bouquet of flowers, the card with the words, "Remember home is always waiting," the strange voice, "You have not remembered the secret." Everything was vague, chaotic. The doctor said, "You have temporary amnesia, the central memory area is damaged. It will take time to recover, whether it will come back or not, cannot be confirmed." Amelia tried to lead him through family photos, wedding photos, photos of her daughter, videos of her singing, scenes of them traveling. But Jamie looked at him, as if looking at someone else, seemingly respectful, seemingly sympathetic, but not him. Fans followed every step. Posts, "Jamie is recovering, come visit me, encourage me to miss you," appeared densely. Many people sent videos, songs, sent pictures to engrave memories in his mind, like marketing memories online. But there were also people who were skeptical. Is this a PR trick? I don't understand why the press is keeping silent. Maybe he is pretending to avoid losing the role. A glimmer of doubt in the midst of faith. Vi. The War of Memory and Love. 1. Returning to each piece, Jamie began therapy with a neurologist, a psychologist. They used music, pictures, voice recordings of Amelia and her daughter, old family videos, all to awaken memories. They played him the song, "Your Song," the song Amelia used to sing to her daughter, with a picture of her wife and daughter in a frame. He was silent, his eyes filled with tears, but he didn't recognize her. Once, Amelia brought her 3 children into the hospital room, according to visiting regulations. The children held his hands, calling, "Daddy, Daddy," in a small, slightly trembling voice. He looked at them with sad and vague eyes, "Children," then quietly turned away, like a person looking at the shadow of a stranger. Amelia collapsed, hugged her youngest daughter, and sobbed. The children's "Mommy" calls echoed. Fans heard the news through social media. "Give Jamie time, let him remember, we wait for a miracle." Jamie lay still. In his soul now there was a thin net of memories, where the image of his wife, daughter, and every promise before the roll of eclipse of memory gradually faded into nothingness. 2. The secret revealed. One morning, while Jamie was in audio therapy, the doctor played a recording of his lines from a rehearsal of Eclipse of Memory. In it, Jamie said, "If I forget you, it means I've lost all reason to live." Amelia listened to the recording, tears streaming down her face. She knew, those were his words, before the accident. But would it be enough to awaken the memory? That evening, she brought a small letter to the hospital room, a draft Jamie had written to his wife the night before the accident, but never sent. In the letter, Jamie wrote, "My love, when tomorrow comes, when I'm immersed in my new role, I'm afraid I'll forget my dreams, I'll forget your smile, I'll forget the sound of my child calling. But remember, if I forget, you take my place. Be my reminder, my light." She put the letter on the table beside his bed, turned on the low light, sat next to him, and whispered softly, "Remember. These are your words to me." Jamie heard her voice, eyes wide, lips moving. Nick, the hazy memory, seemed to pull him back from the abyss. He looked at the letter, silent. For an endless moment, he felt something, a stirring. And then, he stammered, "I love you." Amelia burst into tears, hugging him, her heart breaking and filled with hope at the same time. Her 3 daughters shouted, "Daddy," a sound like the wind blowing through the hospital corridor.